Good morning, staff. If you'd all take your seats, we will begin our cyberbullying presentation. Our objective for today is to review information regarding cyberbullying and to prepare all staff members to recognize cyberbullying and understand our role as educators. First, what is cyberbullying? Cyberbullying is the repeated use of technology to harass, humiliate, or threaten. And the action and result of cyberbullying, is the same as if the bullying occurs in person. But the problem is that cyberbullying is just so much more difficult to recognize because it's on students' phone or their private social media accounts. And so a lot of times those are password protected and it's their personal devices. So for us as teachers and for parents, it's very difficult to observe that. So the different forms. You have exclusion, harassment, outing, cyberstalking, raping, fake profiles, dissing, trickery, trolling, and catfishing. Exclusion and harassment, those are pretty obvious, leaving someone out, specifically trying to exclude them from a group and make them feel alone. Harassment and dissing, kind of going after someone and being consistent in making negative comments. Things like outing, though. Outing is where a cyberbully would find information, private information that someone wants to keep private, and they specifically out that information. They put that information on social media or online to embarrass that person. So that's a serious issue because that can be private information that person doesn't want anyone to see. And there can be legal implications to that as well. Cyberstalking, again, similar to, in-person stalking, it's the person constantly following the person online or on social media, not leaving them alone, constantly wanting their attention or constantly bothering them with negative comments. Fraping is a form of hacking where someone would hack into someone's profile and they would make posts as that person. And so this can be very embarrassing, but also they might put something on another person's profile that's very inappropriate. And so it could get that person in trouble because they were hacked, through fraping. Fake profiles or burner accounts are a way for cyberbullies to harass their victims as well. They can make a profile that no one knows who they are, and they can go and still continue to make those negative comments, and it doesn't look like they are doing anything wrong. We've kind of discussed dissing, putting someone down, negative comments. Trickery would be trying to push their buttons into making them kind of explode or post something that maybe they normally wouldn't. And so that's kind of a form of trickery that some cyberbullies would use. Trolling, going after them, constantly making fun of someone on social media or cyber. And then catfishing, we think of this with online dating, but, having a, very similar to a fake profile where you'd have a fake profile, but you would maybe sweet talk the person and make them think that you really like them, they really like you, and as the cyberbully, and then you use that information against them later on. So those are some of the different forms that you can kind of be aware of as a teacher or staff member. Some of the facts and statistics, 7 out of 10 young people, so 7 out of 10 students here at Halstead are going to experience cyberbullying before age 18. And the most common type of online harassment is just mean comments. So harassment, dissing, trolling. 61% of teens reported being cyberbullied said it was because of their appearance. 77% of online harassment victims say they've been harassed on Facebook. And 64% of victims who received an aggressive instant message say they knew the perpetrator in person. So it's important for us as educators to recognize this and know that if someone is being cyberbullied, it's probably going on by someone, likelihood is in this school, by another student. And so we need to be aware of that. Cyberbullying is also increasing. So the school survey on crime and safety describes the principal's reports of the frequency which cyberbullying occurred between 2010 and 2016. And their findings found that principals reported daily/weekly cyberbullying increased from 7.9% in 2010 to 12% in 2016. The largest difference, the category that probably bothered me the most, was the students that had never experienced cyberbullying. In 2010, 37.7% of students had never experienced cyberbullying. And in 2016, only 19.1% had never received or experienced cyberbullying. So almost a 20% drop in students that had never experienced cyberbullying, which is unfortunate because no student should have to deal with that. Who's at risk? So all students are at some sort of risk of being a victim of cyberbullying, but there are some factors that play a role in this that increase that. Girls are more likely than boys to be both victims and perpetrators. So if you think something is going on with a girl or a female in your class, keep an eye on that. Maybe ask them some questions about what's going on with social media or different things like that. LGBT cyberbullying statistics show that LGBT teens are more likely to be bullied than heterosexual teens, and more youths experience cyberbullying on Instagram than any other platform. Now, I know the previous slide said Facebook, so I know Facebook is kind of out with our generation of high school students, but Instagram is still very popular, so Instagram is probably the one that is going to be used the most. So for us as staff, recognizing and reporting, what do? School personnel have a responsibility to stop anything that has the potential to deny a student's safe learning experience. So, we're mandated reporters when it comes to possible violence and injuries and things of that nature. And we also have to report and intervene possible cyberbullying. So with anything including disruption of learning, interference with the educational process or discipline, and use of school technology to harass, threaten, or infringe on other civil rights, we have to intervene, or we have to go take that to our administration if we believe that is happening to a student in our school. In the Zeno versus Pine Plains Central School District case, the student sued the school because he did not think that school leaders, administration took his problem seriously and that they didn't take big enough steps in order to prevent him from being cyberbullied. And the student was actually awarded over $1 million because the court ruled that the school did not do enough and was deliberately indifferent in its response to the student's cyberbullying claims. And so not only do we need to respond just because we're teachers and we care about our students, but also because it can come back on our school. And if it is our problem, and if I do not report this as a teacher, that can be a big issue for me as well in the future. As always, the USD 440 bullying policy is available online and on the app. USD 440 describes cyberbullying as bullying by use of any electronic communication device through means including but not limited to email, instant message, text messages, blogs, mobile phones, pagers, online games, and websites. And you can read the Halstead High School bullying policy on this link here. And here are my references for the presentation. I look forward to answering any questions that you might have about cyberbullying, and I know that you will all do a great job keeping an eye out for our students and keeping them safe. Thanks.